All right. So hello. We are back.
Hello.
Thousand Star is going to talk to us a little bit about 8-bit duels. So Thousand Star, I will hand it over to you.
Okay, thank you. Hello. So I'm Thousand Star, and I'm a teenager from Canada, and I've been working on my little game called 8-bit Duels for like a couple of months now, and I'll share my progress with you today. And before coming into the Rust programming language about a year ago, I was doing Minecraft plugin development with Java. So I come from that, and I've also done some simple Python when I don't need a specialized language. So yeah, Rust has been very nice for game development, and yeah, I'll show you my game right now. So here I have my terminal. So I'm just gonna run two instances of the client because this is a multiplayer turn-based strategy game, and I also need to run the server. So I've got these two clients here. Now the UI is very minimal at the moment. I do plan on making it better in the future, but that's not my concern at the moment. So here you can see if I connect the server, this UI is also going to be upgraded in the future. Now, this is the main game loop, which I have here. As you can see, it looks kind of like a small chessboard. So this game is kind of a mix between chess and a game by Supercell called Clash Mini. So basically, there are these like fantasy characters, and they fight each other. And the premise of the game is you place these small troops here, which I don't know if you can see the text because it might be very small, but you place those on the board. And if I place, say, a skeleton here, you can see I can only place it on up to 4 tiles from my side of the board. So let's say I place it here, then you can see it also on the other side. It appears here. And now there's a lot of things that are not explained at the moment. Like, see here, the blue means, well, obviously that is yours, your troop, and the yellow aura around it means that it's stunned, so it cannot move at the moment. And if I pull up my blog right here, in my latest blog post, I have outlined all of the different characters that I have. At the moment, I only have 4 because I'm waiting on some more art from my friend. So we got the skeleton, the reaper, the kraken, which is kind of like a squid, and also the spider. So each of these has different stats, like the health points, the attack damage, the spirit cost, which I'll get into a bit later, and the abilities. And yeah, so this game, I've been working on it for a couple of months now on my free time. And so development is kind of on and off whenever I feel like it, or whenever I have the time, because school is taking a lot of my time. And so if I go back into the game, you can see here I have some the two currencies from my from 8-bit Duels, which are the pawns and the spirits. The pawns, basically how they work is you start with the game with 6 of them, sorry, and then when you place a troop, then one pawn is taken away from you, and when one of your troop dies, then one pawn gets added back. So this means that basically you can only have a limited number of troops on the board at the same time, which is 6. And I do plan on making some troops that maybe have the ability to increase your pawn number. So that's something I can do in the future. Now, the other thing is the spirit count, and that's mostly how you spawn these troops. So the premise behind pawns and spirits is that you use pawns and then infuse them with spirits, and then they become troops. And so these spirits are how you spawn troops. You start with 8 of them, and on each turn you gain 1. And when you place troops, you pay the amount of spirit that is the spirit cost of the troop. So let's say the skeleton here is 2. And then once you defeat an enemy troop, then you gain the amount of spirits equal to that troop's health, that troop's spirit cost divided by 2. Now, another thing I've added are troop abilities. So you can see the skeleton doesn't have any, but the reaper has the spirit collector ability, which makes it so that it instead of only gaining half the spirits when you defeat an enemy troop with the Reaper, you gain all of the spirits. Now the Kraken attacks 3 times, as you can see here, and the Spider stuns enemies when it attacks them by 1 turn. So if I end this guy's turn and go into here, I can spawn some other troops, and I'll show you basically some of these abilities. If I go here, I can now these 2 are stunned, so if I click on this skeleton, then I can move it with all of the blue circles. So let's say I move it here, and then I can attack either one of those. So I can attack, say, the Spider, and then here I have the Kraken, which can attack 3 times. So you can see this, it can attack 3 times, and then it can no longer attack. And I also got the Spider, which has the stun ability, but now the skeleton died, so the Spider is taking its place. So that's pretty much it for the game loop. Now, how you win is you get to the end of the board using one of your troops. So I can show that here. Now, it doesn't end exactly on the turn you get there because you need to be able to move to end the game. And so if I see here, I have the little win button, and so that ends the game. And so these are visual bugs here that I need to fix. So that's pretty much it for the gameplay loop. Now, the other thing is when I start the game, when I start the game for local development, you need to use the this flag, like the --dev flag at the end of cargo run, so that it's because of the library for settings I use. If 2 instances run at the same time, they're going to crash. So if like running the game locally with 2 instances, you need to run this option. So if I remove this option, then you can see now the settings work. And so I've got this username here. The address for the server, and then debug mode, which is going to come later on. And this is mostly coming later on, except for the server address. And the username is for something that I will show right now. Is if I go into here, and then I can run. The important thing to keep in mind is when running locally, at least one of the 2 instances need to use --dev, and that instance won't be able to use. Oh, I think that just crashed because this server port wasn't the right one. Yes, so I need to fix that later on too. But yes, when I run 2 instances here, you can see the other thing that I didn't mention is the chat here, which you probably have seen. It's a very simple chat at the moment, but I do plan on adding usernames. As you can see here, it just says player, but I do want it to use the usernames from these settings. So that's pretty much it for the game I've been working on in the last couple of months. I post a blog post occasionally, like maybe once a month or once every 2 months. At the moment, it's been a while since I haven't posted anything. So that's pretty much it for 8-Bit Duels, my game.
That's super cool. So a few things I'm curious about. So I think I was taking a look at your repository just a second ago, and it looks like you're working in Bevy. But I'm curious, like, what your experience has been with Bevy, as well as like what else you might be using your tech stack.
Yeah, so I've been using Bevy for the entirety of my Rust journey. So when I was looking back when I was starting with Rust, I was like, well, what kind of engine can I use? And I saw Amethyst was there at the moment, but then that project kind of got like killed for Bevy or archived, say. And then yeah, so Bevy I find is very nice for the ECS, which is something that I've never worked on before using Bevy. Well, before I did do game development a little bit in Unity with C#, and though that model was kind of like not optimal for me. I really like how the ECS works because you can have a global data, where in Unity I found it was really hard because all of the like data is contained within game with objects, and so unlike ECS, you don't have global resources, which are very nice to have. And so on the tech stack, other than that, I think I have, well, Igui for the UI, and then that's pretty much it. Apart from maybe some small libraries, I think I was toying around with Kayak UI, which is another UI library, but I think I think I'm just gonna stick with Igui for now.
Mm-hmm. And then just out of curiosity, for like the networking side of things, how does like the client and server work?
It's basically the standard library TCP. So that's how it works. And I've got in the common directory, that's like kind of like the shared API between the two. It just has like in the messages, there's like the packet definitions and how they work.
Okay, yeah. So this is like the exact same way that I do networking, and I love it so much how you can just throw everything in an enum and you're good to go. It's like such a clean way, and also I call mine the common crate as well. Like this is like the exact same architecture I use, and so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and also I have like the troop definitions, which are here. I have the troop definitions, which aren't like super clean, but they're just like structs.
Yeah, so you can kind of like store them inside of here and then make changes to design through here. One thing that we use for Valorant actually is RON files, and so this is how we do like a lot of our game design. And so it's similar to this, but then stored in a different file, and then you load it in. And so, I mean, this type of way of doing it is like pretty cool for design. I think it was also cool hearing about like some of the considerations you're putting into design and like how you're planning it out as a game, not just as like a technology you're building, sort of. And so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think when I started the project, one of the like very poor decisions I made was like separating completely the client and the server. So I had like this file on both crates.
Yeah.
And so one user pointed it out to me in the Discord, and so that was very, very helpful. And the other thing is I was like making the packets as well. They're sent as JSON. Then I use a Serde. Yeah, that was the other thing about my tech stack. I use Serde to serialize and deserialize the packets. But I was sending like raw JSON that I made myself, and so that was very like not useful because I had to extract the values from the packets like directly. And then that was not very
so instead of like deserializing it like with Serde, you were using your own custom JSON.
Yeah. So I'm learning a lot of things along the road, and it's very useful.
Yeah, exactly. And I think a lot of the time when it comes to these kind of things, it's like you have to have the motivation first to learn it. Like you do it wrong so that you understand when there's like a better way of doing it, that like what the actual benefit is from that. And so yeah, that's super cool to hear about that progress there. This is awesome. I'm really happy to see this. And also, it was super cool to hear you're also Canadian. That makes two of us. And so I think I'm really excited to hear more about this in the future. If you put out more blog posts, I'll definitely be reading them from now on. It's pretty cool that you have 8 out that I can like take a look at here.
Okay. Well, that's cool. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the development is kind of like on and off because like school is taking so much time and the projects are like so long. So it depends. And some months I have a lot of time and some months I don't. So it's kind of like on and off. Yeah.
That's very fair.
And the latest thing I've been working on is like the animations. So like when I showed like the troops going to and from like when they attack, so that was not there before, and now it's a lot clearer when you're playing like what your opponent has played. So that's something that I just made. As you can see, like the latest commit was like 5 days ago when I made those. The start anims commit, which is like on the client.
I feel that too sometimes on the I have a lot of projects. I'm really good at like starting a project every week kind of thing, and so they're all private on my GitHub right now, but someday I'll make them public. And
if I finish this game, it's pretty much gonna be the second game that I like finished completely, because all of the others I haven't completed. And the other one was like a golf game that I made in 2 days, so not very interesting.
Well, but at the same time, sometimes prototypes that only take 2 days turn out to be like the best ones you make, and that's what I find sometimes. All right, perfect. Well, thank you so much, Thousand Star, for showing this off. It was really cool kind of seeing behind the scenes on this and hearing how you've been working on it. So I hope you see you in the future.
Okay, well, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Cheers.